Hi, and welcome to Talk About It Thursday with Bree. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about how our behavior is the end result of our consciousness. So I bring this up because there's been a lot of times in my life where I can react out of emotion, and I see other people around me do the same thing. They react out of anger when they're angry. They react out of sadness when they're sad. And of course, this seems natural because when you have a certain emotion, of course, you're going to express that emotion. I bring this topic up because during the past 2 weeks, there's been a lot of things going on for me personally at work where there have been lots of friction to the point where it's very easy to slip up and act out of emotion. So act out of a frustration or act out of anger. And part of maturing and developing self-control and being self-aware is being able to see yourself from a broader perspective, and be able to understand others from a broader perspective, to know how to not combat, but know how to meet a person with where they're at and be able to communicate at a pace and at a level with them to where there's more understanding and communication rather than friction and resentment and arguments infused out of anger. So something that I've learned and I like to share with you is always first taking a step back before we get to that point of just, as my coworker called it, buck wild, right? Like you just go off and you don't care. That kind of attitude is the attitude that's going to keep that negative energy around you and around everywhere you're going. So everywhere you go, you're going to experience that negative energy, and you do not want that. You want to do your best to clear it out, and I can definitely show you ways to do that. But right now, we're just going to focus on strictly the communication part between you and others. When there's a point where people get very aggressive or very loud, or just that they're just on 100, they're angry, frustrated, whatever, and they're just kind of coming at you, whether it's at work, whether it's in relationships, I usually tend to give people their time and space to kind of settle down, because I do not want to react with the same energy that they're coming at me with, because that's just going to create more fire. So usually I let them, and I realize they're going through a very intense emotional reaction right now towards me or towards whoever. And then I take my time as a healer, right? Take my time, take a few breaths to keep myself grounded, to not suck in or to not merge my energy with their energy at that point. Then I understand I let them speak once they've come down a little bit, or if they're just speaking out of whatever emotion they're in. I try to receive as much information as I can about what they're going through and how I can show them compassion. Now, this may seem a little bit difficult for some of us because we're not used to meeting anger with compassion. We're not used to meeting such intense energies with compassion when especially they're coming towards us negatively. But as the healers that we are, we have to learn to just kind of work around, and we have to learn how to have this certain finesse with the energies that are coming with us and move with them versus stop and trying to block them. We have to learn to move around it like water, right? Or the yin and yang sound, how it's just completely just moving and flowing instead of just creating a hard stop. Then once we kind of have a feel of what's going on, why they're actually angry, we have to be able to at the same time calculate and analyze what's going on so that we know how to respond in a way that's not going to make them, it's not going to encourage them to continue their behavior. So this may mean, let's come back to it later, let's take a break, we'll come back to the conversation later. That way when you come back, you can clearly hear them, and then you have the space to say what you need to say without there being complete conflict. And sometimes you will need a mediator, and that's okay. The things that you say, and this is part of self-control, when you are talking to anybody, especially in a time where there's high intensity of emotion going on, we have to make sure that we are speaking out of place of clarity. So yes, we have to say what we're feeling, how we see things. We need to be able to communicate that clearly to them so that we don't feel like we have to hold what we're saying just so they can say what they have to say. We have to be able to express fully what we're saying, but in a way that is sensitive in a way that is compassionate and in a way that's not hateful. You're not being derogatory towards anybody. You're not trying to put anybody down. It's just simply, this is how I see it, or this is how I'm feeling, and you're being able to express that without exactly dehumanizing or whatever to anybody else. If you are at that moment are not able to control your temper or to control yourself in that moment, that's a clue and a sign to you that it would be a good time to just, for yourself, to take a break, take a breath, before you say anything that can destroy your spirit. And when I say that, what I mean is like reputation, because nowadays everybody has cameras everywhere. So if you were about to get, go all off on somebody, that can be recorded for your children, your grandchildren, for everyone to see. And that is not, for me personally, it's not something that, I feel like it's something that one will regret later on. It's something that I would regret later on if for an instance, I did something out of emotion and now it's gonna stay with me for the rest of my life. Like, that's a very big price to pay for 5 minutes or for 1 minute of something. So this is why it's always important to always stay aware of yourself, be in control of your breath. If you know you're getting to a certain point, it's okay to take a breath, take your time, and to even figure out how you want to say it, when you want to say it, who you like to say it to. Does this make sense? Am I taking it personally? Ask yourself these questions. Am I taking things personally? Is there a better way to see this situation? Is there a reason, the reason that this person is giving me such a hard time? Did I in any way encourage or have a part in making this person feel a certain way? If you realize that you did, then it's okay to take responsibility for that and say, I apologize. It is okay to say, I understand how you are frustrated. I understand how, A, B, and C. And by you being able to take responsibility of your mistakes, by taking responsibility of your flaws, that makes you a stronger person. That makes you a person that's able to see on a broader level, on a person that's able to see beyond the ego. Because it's really ego that keeps us from, well, I didn't do that, or it's not my fault, or I'm not gonna take responsibility, or I don't need to change, it's everybody else's fault. They need to do this, they need to do that. That's ego talking. But as soon as we can take responsibility and say, you know what, I did whatever. And then not only taking responsibility for it and saying, yes, I'm aware that I did this, but also putting in the due diligence to change that or to work on that. That is what, in my book, you are a superb human being for doing your best every day to really master yourself, to control yourself, to be able to just express yourself in the most honest, loving, way, but without dehumanizing or without degrading anybody else or without cheating anybody else. That's amazing. So no, you're not a weak person. No, you're not, whatever labels people want to put on you. That is something that only a very confident person is able to do, is say, yes, I messed up and this is how I'm gonna fix it, this is what I'm doing, and making that promise to yourself, not proving to anybody else, just yourself. And you're gonna start noticing that people around you are gonna start seeing changes in you, and you're gonna start attracting more and more people in your life that are better for you and for your health. It is a beautiful journey and just an amazing journey. And I hope that if you're watching this, you're able to see this in yourself, of all the things you've already changed about yourself that now are an improvement to your life, and now how you're inviting all these new awesome people into your life because of the frequency that you change within yourself. This is the real work, and this is the work of the light worker. This is the work of the healer. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you and your time. If you know anybody who needs to see this video, or if you just straight up love this video, share it, like the Brie Hernandez page. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. But it's time to love, to grow, and to heal together. Thank you.